Look, we all know about 28-3. Yes, the Falcons blew an astronomically large 25-point lead with 2:06 left in the third quarter of Super Bowl 51. But what about all the other blown leads in the Super Bowl? When did it seem like one team was headed to the promised land and then proceeded to shoot their own leg like they were Plaxico Bob? Yes, we have some juicy failures, some you might have even forgot about. The largest blown leads in Super Bowl history is coming up right after this. Valentine's Day is coming up, and if you're like me, you are going to be spending the evening alone. You might as well treat yourself. Good tunes, calls with friends, and maybe even a few self-improvement audiobooks can be listened to with Raycons. The classic everyday earbuds deliver high-quality audio, 32 hours of battery life, and a perfect optimized gel tip in-ear fit, along with smart features and sound profiles. And guess what? They cost half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder they have racked up tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. Legit, I have had Raycon since 2018 and they are perfect for the gym, editing, traveling, mowing the lawn, just about every daily task you can think of. I have done it in my Raycons. Self-care is the best care. So after this video, go to buyraycon.com/5 points and get 15% off your order plus free shipping. Again, that's buyraycon.com/5 points for 15% off your order plus free shipping. Super Bowl 41, Colts versus Bears in 2007. Most of you remember Super Bowl 41 as the worst weather Super Bowl in the history of the game, as a monsoon covered the stadium in torrential downpour. But not many people remember the Bears being ahead and blowing an 8-point second quarter lead. After Mushin Muhammad scored a TD to put the Bears up 14-6 in the first quarter, it looked like things might actually go the Bears' way. But a field goal with 11:17 left in the second quarter and a Dominic Rhodes TD 5 minutes later put the Colts up 16-14. And unlike Lot's wife, that's a Bible reference, everyone, they never looked back. The Bears did pull within 5 in the second half, but a pick 6 with 11:44 left in the game sealed the 29-17 victory for Peyton Manning and the Colts. Super Bowl 46, Giants versus Patriots, 2012. The Patriots are definitely on this list as comer-backerers, but they looked like they were headed to another easy ring in Super Bowl 46 when Aaron Hernandez hung 6 points on the Giants and the Pats took a 17-9 third quarter lead. That 8-point lead would hold until a Lawrence Tynes field goal with 6:43 left in the third cut the deficit to 12-17, and then Tynes added another to make it 15-17. Wes Welker famously missed a game-sealing catch that allowed Eli Manning to clutch up and eventually drop this super hot fire, with the Giants winning 21-17.
I'm Eli Manning. I'm nice. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Sight! I beat him twice!
Super Bowl 25, Giants versus Bills, 1991. Unfortunately for Bills fans, this game ended with part 1 of Wide Right. But the story of Super Bowl 25 is much deeper than just one kick. The Bills had been a juggernaut all season, and when the Giants took out a 49ers team that started the season 13-1 to even get here, it looked like the Bills would finally end their Super Bowl drought against a seemingly undermanned team. And for the majority of the game, they looked right. The Bills jumped out to a 9-point lead when Bruce Smith tackled Jeff Hostetler in the end zone, forcing a safety and expanding their lead to 12-3. In this grueling, old-school game of football, both the Bills and Giants had to earn their points in the toughest ways possible, as the G-men employed a disruptive defensive strategy to throw the Bills' run-and-shoot offense off course. With 25 seconds left to go in the half, the Bills' 9-point lead was gone. This is one of 3 blown leads on this list, where the offending team would also later lead in the game, as the Bills went up 19-17 following a Thurman Thomas TD with 14:52 left. Matt Barr kicked a field goal 7 minutes later, setting up one of the most iconic missed kicks in Buffalo Bills history. Well, besides one other one. Super Bowl 22, Washington versus Broncos, 1988. The year was 1988, and history was about to be made in Super Bowl 22. Not only was it the first time a black quarterback started the big game, but this would be the middle of a very tough stretch for the Denver Broncos. Coming off a Super Bowl appearance a year prior where they led a heavily favored Giants team 10-9 at half, the Broncos jumped out to a 10-0 second quarter lead over a stacked Washington Redskins squad. But then at 14:07, Doug Williams connected with Ricky Sanders for 80 yards, opening the floodgates, hanging 42 unanswered points and winning the game for the Skins 42-10. Timmy Smith put up an all-time 202-yard rushing performance and was never seen again. The 42-point flip is the largest on this list. Super Bowl 44, Saints versus Colts 2010. This time the Colts were on the losing end of a 10-point lead when a sneak attack by Sean Payton changed the course of history. Indy looked like they were in business in the first quarter as Pierre Garçon scored a TD and put them up 10-0. That margin held until 9:34 in the second as the Saints notched back-to-back field goals. The Colts were in prime position to build on their 10-6 lead to start the second half. However, the Saints executed a perfect onside kick and recovered the ball. The teams traded scores, but eventually Jeremy Shockey and a 2-point conversion put the Saints up for good, with Terry Porter sealing the deal with a pick six, making the final 31-17. Though they won by 14, the onside kick gamble completely swung the momentum of the game and let everyone know Sean Payton has brass balls. Super Bowl 49, Seahawks versus Patriots 2015. Yes, we all remember what happened at the end of this game, but the Seahawks didn't just blow it by not giving it to Marshawn. They also blew a 10-point lead in the second biggest choke job in Super Bowl history. When Doug Baldwin scored a TD with 4:54 left in the third, it put the Hawks up 24-14. That lead held until 7:55 left in the game when Danny Amendola scored to cut it to 24-21, with Julian Edelman scoring with 2:02 left to finally take the lead. Here's a big thing people forget about the Butler interception at the end. Marshawn Lynch had already rushed for a 3-yard TD in the second quarter, and he made it look easy. Not giving it to him at the end was outright criminal, but also hilarious. Thanks, Pete Carroll. Now, before we get to the last biggest blown Super Bowl lead, I'm going to tell you 28-3 is not on this list as an in-depth entry. I've talked it to death, and it's about time I put the meme to bed. That's right. From now on, I will never mention 28-3 again. Just kidding. You fucking idiot. Falcons had a 25-point lead with 2:06 left in the third, and all you had to do was run the ball, you dumb fucks. Super Bowl 54, Chiefs versus 49ers 2020. Okay, Kyle Shanahan, you collapse more than tech firms with long-haired hip CEOs. Shanahan, whose play calling as an OC led to the Falcons blowing a 25-point lead, found himself up 10 points late over the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. To be fair, Shanahan, now a head coach, that 10-point lead didn't really last long as the Chiefs answered Raheem Mostert's TD in their next possession with a TD by Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Then after a 3-and-out, the Chiefs scored again, turning a 10-point deficit into a 4-point lead in the span of 4 minutes in a collapse not seen since 2016. The Niners looked awful in the fourth quarter on both sides of the ball, and they got outscored 21-0 and ultimately lost by a final of 31-20. Kyle Shanahan would regroup his squad and make it back to Super Bowl 58, where they also blew a 10-point second quarter lead, eventually losing in overtime. Jeez, Kyle, you blow more leads than an episode of Property Sex. Until next time.